Well, the trade deadline has come and gone. No sweat. Just chase your dreams. Welcome back to Redzone In the Lab podcast. We got Ken and Souf. I mean, like, do we need to talk about the Eagles game? is that
probably
what
not.
we really want to talk about?
Probably not. We probably don't need to talk about that game.
We can
We don't need
talk
to
about the Washington Capitals.
Yeah,
Not even.
Not even.
But I don't know. I saw somebody tweeted that Backstrom was stepping away from the team, so I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what that's about, but. And then didn't the Wizards get blown out the other night? Yeah, there's nothing to talk about. DC Sports in shambles right now.
Yeah, the health, is his issue. I think he retires pretty soon. Anyway, I guess we're going to talk about football.
Yeah, so hopefully on the other side of this, we'll be able to find. Yeah, on the other side of this, hopefully we'll be able to talk about something.
Shout out Redzone In the Lab podcast.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's Benjamin St. Jude, DB for the Washington Commanders. I want to give a big shout out to Redzone In the Lab podcast.
Hey, look, at least the people on the podcast intro are still on the team. I mean, hey, at least we don't have to make those changes, right?
I mean, Cole Turner wasn't active last week.
You can't get rid of me that easy.
He was on the inactive list.
Oh, man. Hey, Miss Janet.
Hey, Miss Janet.
What's up, Corey, on the Warpath? Please check out that podcast, man. He's one of the funniest content creators. He's 1-2.
Yes.
Him and BigSimple, man, is 1-2. The young less and the sweat less. Yo, what's up, Chase Radar?
I just want to say I like Janet. She's one of my favorite people on social media. I really like her.
There you go, Miss Janet.
Yeah.
Wreaking havoc on Twitter. Hey, I'm trying. I mean, who, me? I mean, I just be chilling, man.
Hey,
Cody in the building.
Utah.
What's up, Cody? Yeah, Cody, we trying to get to LA, Cody. Like, I'm gonna look at it tonight. Got the Commanders on Sunday, got the Lakers on Monday. I don't know, man. We're gonna try to see what we can do. Ms. Janet says, thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ken. All right, overreactions. That's how we start this show on Wednesday. Ken, fan overreactions. I mean, it's gonna be a rack of them. So let's
to the game or anything else.
Whatever. Just overreaction.
I got to see very little of the game. Everyone needs to know that. So my comments may be somewhat muted today. So let me go with the trade. The overreaction that I saw yesterday, once we had traded both of the defensive ends, everybody said, let's burn it down. Let's Jacoby Brissett, Antonio Gibson, on. And I'm like, you can't get rid of everybody. Yeah, you'd have some draft picks, but come on. 2 players is actually a lot before the trade deadline. So overreaction, wanting to trade so many players, that was never going to happen. I thought it would be just one of the defensive ends, but it was both of them. So that surprised me. But we didn't need to trade any other players at that point.
So
I think overreaction, we're going to go from 31st in defense to the Arena Football League.
Well, hold on, man. We got Casey Two here. He got 3 sacks on 25 snaps.
I heard Casey Toohill was going to be the next Jared Allen.
Is that a race correlation?
I'm buying it.
It might be. I mean, I don't want to play the race card, but it makes a little bit of sense.
Look, man, like, okay, Ken. So you you do the grades for
Hog Haven.
Hogs Haven. Yeah, Hogs Haven. I'm sorry. People saying Terry mad at this conference. Look, I don't have no Commanders gear. I got Commanders on my wall. Souf has Chaos Commanders. Well, Ken has Virginia. He has Commanders. I also didn't comb my beard, so that's the type of mood I'm in today. Like, it is what it is. So Ken, you've been doing the grades, right? So, well, you post the grades too with PFF, the PFF grades. All right.
Oh yeah.
What is your so the Casey Toohill hype? Is that right? This is it right here. High motor Toohill, right? He literally runs in place. Like, shout out the Ref the District. They did a clip and they posted all his 15 plays. All he was doing was running in place really, really fast.
Yeah.
Right. He chased Jalen Hurts had to scramble out the pocket, and Casey Toohill got on the horse and he chased him down. Jalen gave up and they awarded that a sack. What is your impression of Casey Toohill? Is he our savior?
No, but he's a determined player. I think he's solid. But you have to remember, he's been a role player all season long, and now he's going to a prominent role. Can he live up now to the hype? I don't think he's going to have the impact that some people are thinking about, but I think he will be a solid player. So don't look for all world statistics to suddenly materialize from him. You have to remember he had limited snaps each game. It's not like he's playing 50 or 60 snaps or 100% of the snaps or whatever it is. And now he's going to a prominent role, and we'll see if he can perform. So I'm willing to keep an open mind, but I'm not willing to crown him champion or king of the hill at this point.
Yeah, so like that's my problem when it comes to like Casey Toohill, because I mean it's not no problem with him, right? Like, I think he's a good player. I think he gives you good energy. I think he's a good depth piece. No, I don't think he's a starter that's going to make such big impacts. But it's like you have this crowd on the left that's saying, "Oh yeah, let's just get rid of Chase. We good because we got Casey Toohill." Like, I don't get that part. And then we got
this real crowd.
Yeah, it's a real. Yes, no, that's a real crowd. Then you got the crowd on the right that's saying, you know what I'm saying, like Casey Toohill can play within the system, which is going to make the whole defense better. Like, you have all of this out there. Like, are you on any side of those fences?
I'm on the side that I think Casey Toohill will never in his life freelance, because number one, I don't think he's athletic enough to freelance. I don't know if he can do the things that Chase Young was doing, jumping inside and then trying to come back outside. I don't think he can do that physically. So I think he will get to what he's supposed to do on every single play that he's in there. Is he going to save the team? No. Is he going to do his job like Ron probably wants him to? Yes. So I don't know the production. Like, some of that is fluky to me. Yeah, he's got how many sacks? 4 sacks. He had that give up sack on Jalen Hurts last week. I mean, it counts. If you want to, it's a stat. It counts for the stat guys out there. But he literally on that play got washed by his the O lineman, and he had to loop all the way around and run like 50 yards. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts on a hobbled knee was like, you know what, I don't want to run anymore, and then slid. And then Casey Tuhill tapped him, and he got a sack. So, no, I'm not on either side, but I do think he will do his job.
For sure, I agree. Hey Riri, Casey too, greater than
Oh my
Parsons.
god.
Oh,
It's Two Hill time. Two Hill is the unseasoned Parsons.
That's nasty.
yeah.
That's
Oh man, what's up,
nasty.
Hulk? Oh well, Two Hill will do his job. That's what Ron wants. of
That's
course.
right. It is.
What's up, Juan?
Uh,
Two Hill is fighting for a roster spot for next season, and that's something that's very true.
mhm.
When it comes to, because the only defensive ends was under contract coming into this year's was the two rookies they drafted, Andre Jones and KJ Henry. None of these other guys are under contract. So like Obata, JSW, Two Hill, like those guys are not only trying to help make this defense better or play as a unit, they're also playing for their like careers in a sense, because they want to impress, they want to show that at least they belong in this league. And we know when it comes to edge rushers, sacks matter so much. So right now, Two Hill got 3 of them things. So, he's on. People say, "Yeah, hey, look, man, Two Hill, he's on pace to get 14 sacks," and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I want to go on
Two Hill
record.
freelance.
I want to go on record and say he did not do the gritty. He did the golly doodle. Okay,
The
that's not
golly
the
doodle.
gritty. That's the golly doodle.
Never heard of that.
Oh man, Two Hill is not the answer. We will see the rest of the season if he is. What's going on, Marcus? My thoughts is I knew Chase Young was going to leave once Rivera did pick up the 5th-year option. We had no choice but to trade him. We definitely gonna talk about it. Two Hill drinks water. See, there you go.
Who told you that, Cody? Who said that? Did he tell you that? I'm here. Look, it's been a lot of weird things I've heard on social media today talking about their sources told them some things, and no one wants to say anything about the sources, so I don't believe it.
Right. Who needs Sweat and Young when you have Casey Two Hill?
That's
The
right.
future, Casey Two Hill. So let's talk about Chase Young for a second. Mark brought up about not picking up the 5th-year option. To me, this game against Philadelphia, Sweat and Young, they wasn't playing hard at all. And you can even make the argument that if there was a pass play and Hurts was shading away from them, that they didn't give it full go. They didn't pursue on running plays. They wasn't trying to get in the pile. It was a lot of things that I saw. I'm sure you guys will. I know Ken, you said you didn't catch all of it, but Souf, you saw they gave no effort. They played like players that felt like or knew that they were going to leave, and that they wanted to not get injured. I mean, how you feel about that, Souf?
I mean, I'm never going to like when I see someone not giving full effort. Do I understand it? Yeah, I do, because that's their, it's their livelihood and stuff like that. But I didn't like it. But so I know we're talking about Montez and Chase because they're the ones that got traded. But we had other guys on the line that didn't do jack diddly either. So like John Allen, I've been on this train for a week or for a couple days now. He should have been traded too yesterday. If we're being honest, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't have been like, oh, we traded John too. Cool. Let's stick with Payne and let a Big Phil is back. Hey, Big Phil. Hey, he recovered a fumble last week. That's production. That's something that John didn't do last week. So I don't know. I didn't like the nonchalantness of our two defense ends that are no longer here, but I get it. Like if he didn't want to get hurt, they're in a contract year. So like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think Chase Young wants to be a prima donna, right? Like his presence is among the stars over there on the West Coast. I think that's where he wants to be. I think he wants to be that type of athlete, like an OBJ type person that's, always on the red carpet doing all those types of things. So I'm not too surprised. I think I don't know if they're going to be able to re-sign him back. That's something we definitely going to watch. But I think he wouldn't mind being over there on the West Coast. But Ken, how you feel about the edge rushers going into this game, playing through this game?
Well, really as an addendum to what Souf said, and I agree with everything there, and you as well. I want to see what KJ Henry and Andre Jones are going to do now as role players. They have that opportunity. Yeah, I don't think we can expect Casey Toohill and James Smith-Williams to play all the snaps each game. So hopefully we get to see KJ and Andre come in and have some good quality minutes. And, somebody put something out there. I can't remember who it was. It was only a short time ago, and said, look for the defense to be better and more disciplined this week. And that's true. The one thing that really bugged me this season about Chase Young is his freelancing. I remember one play where he was supposed to stay in his lane. He immediately charged, into the backfield. And you could clearly see this was going to be a running play. Well, the left tackle easily, pushed him way out and way beyond into the backfield. And the running back just sprinting right by for 12 to 15-yard gain. And that was a couple of weeks ago, I think. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good example of you're supposed to stay in your lane and do your assignment and so on. And I've seen that a number of times from him. So I think with the trade, I only thought it was going to be Chase Young. And I felt that strongly for quite some time. It was a surprise to see Montez go. But again, they got a high second-round pick for him. I can't argue that. But again, I'm excited for these young rookies to show what they have and to demonstrate that, for now they can be good role players, especially KJ Henry. We traded up to get him. Young man, it's time to show us what you have.
And this whole Silver report, I believe it. Just like Corey, I believe it because him and Mike Silver go back 20 some odd years. I mean, they are really close. So I believe it, and I believe that Ron leaked it. George Carmi, shout out to Commander Mike podcast with George Carmi. He tried to tell me over and over and over last offseason that there's something going on with Ron and Chase. They don't get along. There's friction. He doesn't show up. Ron doesn't like that. And I kept fighting nah, man, it's voluntary. Don't mean nothing. He's there when he's supposed to be. He loves Ron. He kept finally telling me, no. So shout out to George Carmi. You were right. I was wrong. But I really think this whole thing about Ron leaking stuff out about Chase is very true. And I think there's going to be more. Probably more so after the season that comes out about their relationship.
Exactly.
This is a lesson in futility. You can absolutely ruin a young team when you have bad coaching and make bad personnel decisions. They basically, I don't think, well, you're referring to the ends, I think, Ms. Jan, and I agree. They checked out. Go ahead, Ken.
One thing I want to add to what you said about the relationship between Ron and Chase. I heard from a source earlier in the summer that the friction between the two of them was more than just friction. It was actually a very cold relationship. And it goes back to Chase's second year. He had a good rookie season, defensive rookie of the year. Everything was hunky-dory. Guess what he does during the off season? He doesn't come to OTAs. He does his own thing. Now, he stayed in great shape and everything was fine there. And he didn't come to other, he did come to minicamp because that was mandatory, but he didn't come to anything else. That was the first sign right there that something's not quite right. Yeah, it's voluntary, but you know what? Most everyone usually shows up. And then he gets injured like halfway through the season. That's the way it goes. And again, during this off season, what does he do? Misses OTAs. Comes to minicamp, but that's about it. So that's when I was told by a source, they said, Chase is not going to get the 5th-year option, which happened. And he's also not going to be with the team after this year. And I'm like, ooh. So score one for that source. I didn't put it out there because I didn't believe it at first. But when they brought up all the off-season stuff and not being a part of the team, yeah, I can see that now.
Yeah, they say
You know what bugs me about that whole Mike Silver thing, Deuce? Did you watch the Ron Presser? I don't think you watch those anymore, but I did.
I'm going to watch it probably when we finish here.
I watched it.
Tonight we're going to.
I watched the presser earlier, and he made it seem like it wasn't him that leaked it.
I know he did. I know he did.
No.
So I'm sitting here like, bro, how are you going to sit up here to the Washington media, to the fans that know what's happening and tell them that, they should have put their name on it, when your best friend of 20 years is the one with the story?
Yep.
I don't know. It just bugs me. It just bugs me. I'm sick of Ron now. I've never said that out loud before until like 2 days ago. But I'm sick of this whole thing, man. They need to get him out of there. I'm through with him. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, he did, wonderful things. He steered the ship in the right direction. He went through what he went through, and I commend him for that. But as far as a football coach, man, get on out of here, man. They should have packed his bags yesterday with Chase's and Montez's too.
Yeah, man. Chase loves being a football player. Like, he likes everything that comes with being a football player. But actually playing football, like, I don't really want to do that. Ron's been a truth teller for years. The Pats are going to have to game plan with. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Hey, what's the point? He replied, quarterback. Chase is about to go on a run now. Yeah, maybe not. He may still be running past people, but we'll see. Glenn is in the building. What's up, Glenn? I believe Ryan, you were used to leak about Dwayne Haskins saying that he doesn't work hard. I don't know. Possibly. And just like thinking about Dwayne, like I think that was one of the previous owners, like only hard rock requests for Ron Rivera. Like, please try to make this work with Dwayne Haskins. I think that was his one ask. They just drafted him first round the year before, and he wanted Ron. So I think that was his only ask. But because you can tell, like he didn't really. Dwayne Haskins had a real short leash with Ron Rivera.
And he did with Jay Gruden too.
Yeah. But that because they made Jay Gruden draft him. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely what it was. All right. So Sweat, like you mentioned something, Ken, about you throw only one. Like I throw only one. I thought they was going to trade Sweat because I think we've seen Sweat ceiling and Chase ceiling. If there is one, it's still a possibility to be higher than what we've seen. Right? There's a chance that he can be better than what we've seen. Sweat, I think he's like where he's going to be for the rest of his career. And he's older. Chase is younger. So I thought they would go keep Chase and trade off Sweat. But then the report came out that they really wanted to get rid of Chase, but they kept Sweat because of the offer that they got from the Bears, which is a high second around 35 if the standing stays pat as they are now. Are you surprised by that?
I was genuinely surprised. I just felt it was going to be Chase Young all along, based on all the external factors that we've already talked about. But when that was announced first, I thought they're going to keep Chase, and of course that didn't happen. But a couple hours later, Chase Young was gone as well. But when I saw that it was for that second rounder, I said, this has got to be conditional, because the Chicago Bears are 2-6 with no prospects of really improving. They're giving away a high second rounder. Now, after looking at that and thinking about that, the Chicago Bears right now, according to Tankathon, own the second and third overall picks in the first round. So they can trade back with one of those picks and recoup, extra picks, including the second round. So I don't think they really lose anything there. But still, giving away a high second rounder is still surprising. So when I saw it, I thought, you've got to make that choice. The good news is now Washington will have 2 second round picks. Both of them might be quite high, but at least both of them will be in the second round. And, they could package them, move back up in the first. I wouldn't do that. I would keep those 2 picks, because in the first round, you have a good chance to get a really good offensive tackle. In the second round, if it's right at the beginning, you could get someone like the tight end from Georgia, Brock Bowers. My goodness, could you imagine getting one of the top left tackles or tackles, just period, and then getting Brock Bowers? Your offense already just improved by leaps and bounds, and you still have another second rounder that you can do BPA at that point, and then 2 third rounders. So the more and more I thought about it, it's a good trade.
Yeah, I agree. I agree from what you were going to get. And then the reports came out south that a lot of teams, because like the reports from the beginning was like there were a lot of teams talking about Montez Sweat, Montez Sweat. Not too many about Chase Young. I think teams may have wanted him, but may want to do a 4th round or 5th round pick because of that knee. And I'm confused. I think he's fully healthy, but obviously there's something still going on with that knee. So once we have all of that information, and the 49ers have like 25 third round picks because of all these comp picks that they have, and they could give up a third round pick. Is that okay with you? Like, are you at a point where it's like, you know what? Yeah, that's the best offer.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to resign him. Now I'm not going to tag him, but I need to get something for him.
Yeah. So initially, I was in shambles when all this news started breaking. I was opposite of Ken. So I thought Sweat was, if we moved anybody, I thought Sweat was going to be it, because there have been talks about Atlanta, this, that, and the other. So I was like, all right, if they move somebody, it'll be Sweat. Then they move Sweat. So I'm thinking at that point, okay, there's no way they're going to move Chase, because the optics of Chase in Washington is crazy. Like, there's videos of him and Magic like talking to each other while when Magic's in the car and in the tunnel at the stadium. Apparently Chase Young's got Magic's phone number. So I'm thinking, he's in with the ownership. So like, there's no way that they're gonna get rid of, quote unquote, the face of the face of the franchise, because he's on the tickets, he's on billboards, he's on the side of the stadium, this, that, and the other. So I'm like, all right, they're probably gonna re-sign Chase to a long-term deal now, blah, blah, blah. Was it an hour and a half later? Chase's moved too. I was like, wow, we are in full on tank mode right now, because we're giving away. And at that point, I was like, they're about to fire Ron too right now, today, this second. Because I'm thinking like, okay, they're just getting rid of assets for the next guy. Like this is what's happening. So let me just buckle in. But like, I've had, some time to think about it. And the way I'm looking at it is they gave away a San Francisco traded away a third-round pick. Cool. And then reports came out today. No one was really offering anything for Chase because whatever reason. So they wanted to actually, like you said, Deuce, that the team wanted to actually move Chase and keep Sweat.
Yeah.
So I was, I don't know what to believe anymore because I was thinking the opposite. But as far as the thinking goes, new ownership's here. To me, what they're doing is they're stockpiling all of this stuff, the picks, the money for the new GM, for the new head coach, because this is going to be an enticing job for whoever wants it and whoever they want to get. And we've seen in the league where you cannot win games consistently if you build a defense up. Like they went defensive, 4 years in a row in the first round. So they're just trying. I guess they're gonna go in offense, and then maybe plug in some pieces over here on defense, because you can't win games without offense. So I think that's what they're trying to do. And I forgot who said it in the spaces, but we've been losing with these guys.
Yeah.
We're we're the 31st defense with Montez Sweat and Chase Young. Yeah. So you can only go down one more spot. So I mean, who cares at this point?
Can I answer Hawk's question here real quick?
Yep, we was about to go there. Yep.
He asked, about the Brandon Sheriff situation, or Brandon Sheriff, and why didn't Ron and Marty treat that the same way ownership moved on from Young and Sweat? It's because we didn't have the ownership that we have now. Back then, it was Ron and Marty making the call, essentially Ron making the call. There's no way he was going to do that. Hey, I mean, I don't think Ron can think that far ahead. But this ownership group proved yesterday that they are truly in charge, and they're going to do what's best for this football team and not him haul around. They're going to just, make the decisions. They're going to be firm with it. And like Souf said, he couldn't believe the trade because of Trace Young, because, Magic and Chase seemed like buddy. Well, forget that. The trade did happen. And apparently the ownership group said, yeah, we're going to do this. You two can still be buddy if you want to, which I doubt happens now. Well, you never know. But
I mean, I'm sure they still will, because you got Rich Paul, you got the Clutch, you got all those different guys.
The bottom line, but Hawk, to answer you, is that we didn't have this ownership group in place a couple of years ago. That's the reason why.
And they also tagged him. I think they tagged him. Did Ron tag him twice or once? I know he was tagged twice.
Once.
I don't remember. I know. Okay, Ron tagged him twice. And then, like Mayhew said, that like they offered for him to be the highest paid guard ever, and he declined it. And so, but we end up getting a 3rd round pick. So if you think about it, Hawk, like we got the same conversation we got for Chase Young. They both went for two, like Sheriff and Chase went for 3rd round comp pick. So there you go. So we basically got the same compensation for both of them. Front office staff after the season. Louis Riddick.
No,
Louis Riddick have been out of football for a while.
No, we don't want Louis Riddick.
I wouldn't like that choice.
We don't want Louis Riddick. He likes Mitchell Trubisky. I can't.
But I will say so. Yeah, he did. So Ken, are we tanking with those 2 moves yesterday? Did tanking come into your mind when we made those 2 moves?
That remains to be seen. I think the players will play hard. And like, I can't remember again who said it, the defense will probably be starting to, it might have been Kyle Smith for GM, one of the writers at Hogshaven. I think he said, look for this defense to actually now improve, and gave reasons why. And so, but I won't dive into that again. So maybe they do improve. Maybe they make a bit of a run, get into the playoffs. But I'm not going to say they'll do that. I just don't see that happening. I see a pattern developing where they play pretty good one game, the next game not so good. It's been kind of a pattern. And I could see a new pattern developing where they play one good game and then have a bad game for 2 or 3 games in a row, then another good game, and so on. So it wouldn't surprise me to see this team end up 6-11 with, say, the 8th or 9th overall pick in the first round. But I don't see them out and out tanking. That would put them at probably, at 4-13 or even 3-14 if they lose out. I just don't see that happening. So I would say, if I had to make a prediction, 6-11 record with the 8th or 9th overall pick, and that's certainly not a bad pick to have in the first round. You're definitely going to be able to get a very, very good tackle. So that's what I'm looking for.
So I never thought they were going to tank. I didn't think they were going to tank because when I think about a tank, I'm thinking about trading away players that's under contract, not players that's not under contract moving forward. I think I don't even think this had anything to do with their production. I think it had done with money management and decisions. Like I don't want, I'm able to get a second round pick for Montez. I got 2 20+ million players already on the defensive line. I got a second round pick and move on for him. When it comes to Chase, hey, look, I don't want to deal with the extra drama stuff. I don't want to have to worry about the franchise tag. And if I want to transition, do all those different types, I don't need to have to worry about any of that. And what comes with it, and they probably didn't want to play for them anymore. I mean, Montez moved all of his Commander stuff, all of his Instagram. You got Chase. So I never thought this was going to be a tank. And at the same time, I'm not going to see a difference on Sunday. I don't like if Del Rio ain't willing to change the scheme up, it's going to be the same thing we've seen this entire year. I'm not even going to notice if they're out there or not. And there's no shot to them and their talents. It's just that this is just what this defense is going to be. So I don't, if it gets better, all right, cool. If it gets worse, all right, cool. I think it's going to be the same either way. So that's where I am when it comes to, if they're tanking or not. I don't believe that they are tanking. I just don't. Patriots like run. I don't know about all that. I mean, we'll see. We'll see, Hawk. We'll see where this pattern goes for sure.
I don't think they'll
Souf.
tank because we're forgetting Eric Bieniemy is still like basically auditioning for a head coaching job. So yeah, they got rid of 2 defensive ends, but that has no bearing on what Eric Bieniemy is doing on the other side of that ball. And they've been holding up on their end of the bargain for the most part. So for the tank to be on, I mean, they're 31st in defense. So like, what's that mean? What are they going to play worse? Or is the defense going to play 32nd ranked defense? Cool. I mean, I don't know what the stats are for them to drop 1 spot in the rankings, but that offense is still probably going to be out there trying to play because Eric Bieniemy is going to be auditioning for a head coaching job right now. So that's my reason for them not going in full tank mode.
Yeah, of course, we'll see what that looks like in the offseason. But I think and even when it comes to players not under contract, if I think they were going into a full rebuild, I believe some of the players, I think if you move some of the players on the offense outside of Antonio Gibson, you're going to, I don't want to say stop, I'll say slow down the progression of Sam Howell by removing weapons from him. If they really want to see what he has and who he is and how he finishes the season out, they want to keep that whole offense intact. So that's why I'm not, surprised that they didn't make any moves. The Gibby, maybe, because they have C-Rod, they have Samuel that can do a lot of the same things. and they have Gore that they can always bring up. So I was thinking maybe he'll get moved. I mean, what about Brissett, Ken? I mean, where were you on Brissett being moved?
I didn't think it was going to be moved at all. I thought that, yeah, they put it out there that they wanted a second day pick. That was not going to happen. And then I think the reason they put it out there is, hey, if they somehow got it, you got to take that, right?
I agree.
So that told me they really had no interest in trading him. I never believed that. The one, I'll say this, my dark horse trade, if there was going to be a second one, in addition to one of the defensive linemen, was going to be Curtis Samuel, and try to get a second day pick for him, because this is a contract year for him as well. So I thought there was a chance that could happen, but obviously they didn't entertain that at all. So I would like to see Curtis Samuel return, because if Antonio Gibson walks after the season, which I think is a very real possibility, I could see them, making an effort to re-sign Curtis Samuel, and then, have him take on that role a little more, and continue being kind of a gadget player that ED likes in that system. So that's my viewpoint.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he make it to the playoffs too.
Oh yeah,
for sure. What's going on, Jeff? Thank you for coming. Joining us again. Getting rid of Ron would be the perfect audition for ABS intern. I like what I'm saying from C-Rod. Me too. The little opportunities we do see. Do you all see us going at least? Oof, that's tough. I can't see it. I'm sorry. Guess it's about to be an Eagle or Cowboy. Yeah, power to him. But getting back to
Jacoby,
to Jeff, Jacoby for you, South. Like, where you at with Jacoby?
I thought he was actually gonna get moved, because Kirk got hurt, right? So I thought he may have been somebody that they were looking at, and then him going back to the Browns, I thought was also going to be a thing, because I don't know exactly what's going on with Deshaun Watson. I don't follow the Browns too closely, but I don't know if he's played the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks, or whatever it is, and they're saying he's week to week. And even when he's playing, I don't know if he's effective. So I thought maybe they would move Jacoby to one of those teams, but then obviously Jameis was it Jameis that got moved to the Vikings?
No, it was
no. It was a rumor.
Josh Dobbs.
Oh, Josh Dobbs.
They got Dobbs. They ended up getting.
Okay, yeah. So Dobbs got moved. So then I said, okay, so maybe he goes to the Browns. He goes back to the Browns, but then no. And the Curtis Samuel thing, I think he will be back, because he's not playing crazy. Like, he's not producing crazy numbers to where he's gonna be like, all right, give me this much money. And Antonio Gibson, kind of the same. He might walk, but I don't know if there's gonna be a market for him, because he's only touched the ball 20 something times this year. So like, are they doing that on purpose? Are they trying to diminish his value to bring him back? I don't know. I've seen it happen before in the league. I'd like them both back if possible, but that's just me being. I like AG. He wears my favorite number. So,
well, the one thing to remember is that the team will have like $92 million in cap space, so they're going to have the ability to sign maybe up to 3 impactful free agents, and probably keep most of their own free agents. Mm-hmm. So something to really remember.
A second day pick, not a second round pick.
Yeah. So Tanny, thanks for joining. I think this might be your first time commenting, at least. So we definitely appreciate you stopping by. Please comment. Please come. Continue to join, comment. But yeah, so it was a day 2 pick. That's probably what you meant, but not like a second pick. But I think if that was the case, right? If the Commanders was like, look, we want a day 2 pick. A day 2 pick is the second or the third round. they know ain't no team giving that up. I think the Browns was
No.
at a 6th pick. Like they were willing to give up a 6th round pick. So they knew that. So the Commanders really didn't want to move on from Jacoby Brissett. Like they may believe that they, have their backup quarterback for the next few years. If a team is not willing to tell Jacoby, hey, look, I think you can be our starting quarterback. He might want to come back, and you might be able to continue to build that rapport between him and Sam Howell. You know what I mean? So, but some people was like, hey, look, who cares? Go and give up the 6. But you got to look also long-term and big picture, right? You have this new regime with these owners who have their people in place that's also overlooking this. And they might not just be looking at this season. They might be looking at the development of Sam Howell also. So having, his backup with him, at least this year and next year, if that's the way that they want to go, I think means a lot. And that says a lot. And I'm sure they probably had that conversation with him. I do want to go back up here to Marcus about no, not that one. Hold on a second. This one. All right, where you at with this, Ken?
If it happens during the bye, you're talking late in the season, and depending on
week 14, the bye is
week 14, yeah. And so, yeah, if it's just no hope of really getting to the playoffs or doing anything impactful, yeah, that could happen, but not now. I mean, not right during the middle of the season. You don't do that. It's just too disruptive. So, stay the course for now. But if there's a situation during the bye week where you do that and let the EB be the interim, sure. But beyond that, no, I'm not really in favor of it. But I don't rule it out happening during the bye.
Like, look, Souf, if they wanted, the only reason I would like, if they get rid of Ron now, the only thing it's going to do is appease the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Ron doesn't do anything for it to have an impact. And there's going to be distractions. Like distractions is going to come with it. They're going to be talking to the players about how do you feel now, whoever the interim is, you got to deal with all. So there's distractions that they don't really need. Whatever their record is with Ron is going to be the same record without Ron. There's not going to be no major change or no, because these players still respect Ron, right? But it's not, like I think they do.
They do.
I think they still,
I'm
I think, I think they still respect them. So, I don't think it's gonna be a big impact. If they do it, it's just to appease the fans, and I kind of think that Josh and them know that. So, if they do, all right, cool. Like it is what it is. But where you at with it?
So 2 days ago, I was different. 2 days ago, I was don't get rid of him. Don't do this. Don't do that. But since they traded away those 2 guys, to me, that means Ron is out anyway. At the end of the year. So to counterpoint, Ken, I think if you fire Ron week 14, that's too late. That's too late for EB to have an audition.
Yeah,
because you're out of the playoffs, so your players know that. There's really no. I mean, yeah, they're playing for their jobs, but they're not playing for the playoffs at that point. Probably, if Ron gets canned at week 14. But if you get rid of him like this week, next week, he could shake it up. I don't know how. I don't know if he would get rid of Jack Del Rio. I don't know what their relationship is like in the building. But I think if he were to make that change, I think if he were to make that change, I think something might happen. If he were to be like, all right, now I'm in charge, Jack, I don't know what you want to do, but you're not calling defense no more. So we're gonna demote you. We're gonna put you somewhere else.
Yeah, I think
I can see that happening. Yeah. But I think what I say about that situation could happen. And what you're saying, yeah, it could happen. But I think for both of us, we're going to be wrong because I think Ron stays the rest
I'm
of the
gonna be
year.
there, yeah.
I mean,
Unless
that's just,
something crazy happens. Well, I
yeah.
don't know anymore because he's
Well,
not pulling those
Let
strings
me
anymore.
tell you something that happened overnight last night. The Raiders.
The Raiders.
They
Yeah.
just now. The only thing I'll say to that is watch what happens to them. Let's see what their record will be at the end of the season. Guess what? It's going to be pretty bad. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's gonna be bad regardless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right?
it's
that's
Like,
going to be
bad
bad.
thing.
It's going to be bad if it didn't happen. It's going to be bad if it
Mhm.
did. So why do that? Why mess that? Why even do that? I realized that Mark Davis has some traits of his father. Very, very impulsive, and that showed last night. Middle of the night. I don't understand that, but it
1
happened.
o'clock in
I
the
mean,
morning.
so you're talking about the head coach called, offensive coordinator. Was it defensive coordinator too?
Yep, the
It
offensive
was the GM.
coordinator. Yes, the offensive
Yes.
coordinator. The GM, him and the GM went together,
GM.
and they fired the offensive coordinator. They
Okay.
promoted the quarterbacks coach because a lot of people thought that
Turner.
Scott Turner was going to be there, but they promoted the quarterbacks coach to offensive coordinator, and they
Yeah.
made Antonio Pierce, which we know well, the head coach.
So my point is, what is that going to accomplish now? I don't think it accomplishes anything.
Devontae
yeah.
Adams about to see 20 targets on Sunday.
Well, it may.
Yeah, because they
help.
benched Derek Carr for Aiden
Yeah,
Connor.
it may help a couple, 3 players here and there.
You mean
Especially
Garoppolo?
I mean,
You mean-
Garoppolo.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, hold on. Start over. Yes, Garoppolo. They benched
Um,
Garoppolo for Aiden Connor.
Yeah, Aiden's going to be their starter. It might be their starter going forward. So you have a change there. Let's see what he has. He may do well. He may flop. So let's see. Devontae Adams, he may or may not see an increased, number of targets. I know he's very frustrated with what's going on now. I just felt that was just a knee-jerk reaction by Mark Davis, but let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
Now,
for sure.
I'll say this about Washington's situation. I don't think it would, if it happens, would be a knee-jerk reaction from ownership. I think it would be calculated. They would look at everything and see, what the advantages and disadvantages are. And that's why I lean toward Ron staying this season and no changes to the coaching staff, unless it just gets absolutely horrible, between now and the bye.
And to your point, Souf, like the whole Bieniemy thing. I mean, how do we not know that they already talked to them? Hey, look, Bieniemy.
we don't.
Let's see. Like you have full autonomy over the offense. We're looking at you. Run the meetings. I mean, it could be anything else that's happening inside that we have nothing to know about. So even with Ron still being there, they still can be auditioning EB. You know what I'm saying? All they can say is all about what you do with this offense, because you have full autonomy over the offense. But if he has that red flag in his back pocket come Sunday, then we know Ron is just there just to be there.
Well, yeah. The only thing I'll say is, maybe they have that agreement. Behind, in the building, but the rest of the league probably doesn't know that. So
yeah.
So for him, so he could be auditioning for the Harris group, but if he actually gets that head coaching title, he would be auditioning for the rest of the league, I think.
I mean, the league might. I mean, if they want to inquire about it, of course they'll have notes, like whoever they talk to, reference or whatever the case may be, or even EB. He could be like, yeah, starting from week 9, I was doing this, and that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know, man. But what's up, Chef? Appreciate you for stopping by. What's up, Steve? Let me see what you got smart to say. What up, fam? Ken. Hope you are on the men. South, no more Pookie Dookie.
I'm getting there.
Are in charge now. Do save some energy for tomorrow. Yes, I am going to be on command this podcast tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
Can't wait for that.
What time is
Hopefully Phil wears his wrestler outfit. You know, Phil on there. You know, he used to be a wrestler. He used to be like a
Wrestling?
real,
I
yeah. He
didn't.
used to be a
Yeah,
real life
really.
wrestler. Yeah, I'm telling everybody. So
Wow.
where what was his name, Steve? I keep forgetting his name. So yeah, man, I'm trying to get him to wear. He used to wear like I think a luchador
Lucha
thing.
Libre?
Yeah. So, I'm gonna try to see some pictures.
Rey Mysterio?
Ron was talking like he ain't going nowhere. I'm not mad at all that Chase and Montez are gone. I wish them the best. They're gonna ball out because of coaching. I can see that. If you're the new head coach, would you hire? No,
Nope.
we're not gonna hire Dar Green. He can be out there though. Like he could be out there in shorts on the far field with the DBs. Like that's cool.
Like Warren Sapp
Being an
was.
assistant, yeah, you know, ain't gonna be no DB coach. Assume he's interested in
He,
for
you know, Daryl Green said that if he could have 10 minutes with,
Forbes.
with
With
yeah,
Forbes.
Emmanuel Forbes, that he
Yeah.
can correct everything. 10 minutes. I'm like,
10, 20 minutes. Yeah,
yeah,
That's
maybe
a shot at
and
coaching.
look, and
maybe
the crazy
10,
thing,
maybe 10 months, but not
right?
10
And
minutes.
the crazy thing is the one coach, defensive coach he mentioned that didn't help him was Richie Pettibone. Like that's the last interactions you have with the NFL coach was Richie Pettibone. Like, yeah, just come in and consult, buddy. That'd be good. Brian Mitchell, he didn't even play defense, Chef. Doc GM. Okay, Chef.
Doc
I see what
Walker.
you're doing here. I see what you're
Oh,
doing here, Chef.
man.
Okay, Chef.
You know, a Doc Walker
Hands on deck.
presser, you know, would last
Oh man,
4 or 5 hours at least. And I'm like,
can you imagine, man?
I love Doc Walker. I really do. But
Uh-huh.
man, the guy goes on and on and on and repeats everything about 6 times before he answers your question.
Plus,
he's
ownership
awesome,
is watching
though.
EB, and they got a sense if he can be here. Yeah, man, like they're watching. Like I keep telling y'all, the janitor, the couple new IT people that started in August, all them people are moles, man. They going around taking notes, incognito style. There's a shadow governor. See, look, there you go. Yep.
You know who it is, right?
It's the
You know who
janitor.
it is. You know who it is.
It's the janitor,
It's
man.
Scott McCloughan.
Scott McCloughan.
We're going back to the Watergate days. Deep throat.
Scott McCloughan, you know, they probably got his picture up at the front desk. Do not let him in.
No, I mean, they probably put it back up or did they probably remove that when Dan left, though?
Oh,
so
yeah.
You never know.
They probably like a whole board full of people not to let in the building. Yeah, Devontae may move, man. He's real frustrated out there. Yeah, there you go. Trent Phoenix. That's his name. Trent Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's Phil wrestler name. It's Trent Phoenix. I love it. I love it.
Libre.
I love it. I love it. Oh, I guess, you know, before we go, who we got next? The Patriots.
New England.
Right?
I
mean, Mac Jones, I never liked him because of the way
Is he playing?
Yeah. I never liked him because of the way that he walks. I never thought he was good because of the way he walks. You know, he's proving me right in a sense. And he plays good every other game. So last week he played really well. So this week they might bring in Zappy at the end of the third quarter. So I don't know. What you think, Ken? What you got for this game?
You know, Bill Belichick seems to have our number no matter who the coach is, no matter who the players are, no matter what the situation. And during the second tenure of Joe Gibbs, he loses to Bill Belichick 52-17. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. Mm-hmm. So Belichick has had our number for more than 2 decades. And I don't see that changing, but I do see a closer game. I'm going to go 27-21 Patriots.
Yeah, there you go. Who you got, Souf?
I will think about this for right now because I think Washington will do the most Washington thing ever. And I think the defense comes out and plays really, really, really well and gives a whole storyline for the media for the following week. And I think we win this game 27-3.
Woo! Whoa!
I think
Whoa!
this is the most Washington answer ever, because this is exactly what the media wants. They're gonna eat it up. They're gonna say, "Oh my God, Montez Sweat, Chase Young gone. Defense held him to 3 points."
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be nasty. If that happens next week, it'll be real nasty.
And it's right up our alley.
real
This is like in our backyard. This is what we do.
It's gonna be real nasty. Yeah, they looking at us like fool hawk. Wouldn't the new GM have to be interested in EV? Yep, that's true, man. Like, but I think if ownership, it depends how ownership wants to play this TNE. Like, if they say, "Hey, look, this is the job that we're offering you, but I just want you to know up front, you have to Sam Howell is QB1, Eric Bieniemy, we want him to be head coach. Everything else, you work out, you figure that out." Like, they can do that. I hope they don't do that, but they can do that. Or they could just say, "You're the GM, you make the decisions on personnel, coaches, everything."
But we
That's
like
your job.
EB. Yeah, they could say
Yeah,
that
but
too.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
it just depends which way they want to go, TNE.
It was 52-7, Ken. It was. My dad watched that entire game. I remember. He sat and watched the entire game.
I was trying to sugarcoat it a little bit.
No,
Come on.
it's 52-7.
Work with me here.
28-14.
That's 28-14. 28-3. Oh,
No. We're not the Falcons. We're 27-3.
We see the joke.
Total.
We see the joke. We see the joke. We see the joke. Chase says 24-16. Pats. Where'd Matt go? Oh, yeah. I say, what's up, Matt? 57, because I remember the game saying that we're polar opposites. And Riri like, what the? That's right, Riri. I don't know about all that. We went 52-7. The timeline gonna be mad. We're gonna be going to the Super Bowl and everything.
You're gonna hold a space. That thing's gonna last 6 days. That space gonna last 6 days. Oh man.
Back jump Friday. Oh man, I hope not. Not him. Like anybody else, not him.
Man, Casey Toohill's gonna do the golly doodle in this game. Watch.
Here we go again. Casey Toohill.
He's gonna golly doodle.
From now on, Casey Toohill comments should be a 50 cents, just like Taylor Heineke is.
He's the starter in Atlanta.
He's a starter for the Falcons now.
You know what? You know what's gonna happen to Atlanta? They're gonna be in NFL purgatory because they're gonna draft 16 to like 24.
Yep.
Yeah.
I tried to tell these Falcons fans.
5 games. Yeah, we tried to tell. They had one job, but we got to hear about that too. If he go out there and win games, we want to hear about that. We think it was John. Look,
no, it's different, Riri. It's different right now. We got
it's different. You living in the past, Riri. Get out the past. You living in the past. We got a new defense. We got Casey.
This is what the DC media needs to wear. This hat. They need to be like, well, this is what we want. This is what it needs to be. Chaos.
Oh man. Yeah, we got Casey Toohill, Riri. What you talking about?
That's $1. That's $1.
Hey.
Because I mentioned Taylor Heineke, that makes it now $3.
We getting paid.
Can KJ Henry play?
We're gonna find out. Hopefully, he's been inactive all year, so we're gonna find out. And we ain't talking about him. We ain't talking about no Heineke TNE. I hope he lose every game.
He's gonna win though, because they play the Vikings.
Oh my goodness.
He's gonna win.
All right, we about to get out of here. Ken, any last words, Ken? I don't blame you, Miss Janet.
Yeah, apologies to everyone for missing the game and not having missed most of the game and not having an article up this week. It just wouldn't do it justice and trying to kind of guess what happened. Glad I could be here and make it through this podcast today. Hopefully that makes up for it. But I appreciate everyone. In the last few days, I've gotten quite a bit of new followers, and I appreciate that. And I checked I think it was late last night, how many I have, and I'm like, I'm starting to get close to 5,000, and I value all those followers. Lots of good Commanders fans and good people. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, good stuff. Ken has already got into the college. He's already started scouting. So those reports could be coming
Yeah,
in
one thing about that.
January, February. Mhm.
Yeah, one thing about that, I've already started to kind of rearrange everything because of 2 new picks. And so I've already decided on Saturday I'm going to be spending about 14 total hours from sunup to late in the evening, not only watching games, but kind of rearranging my database and adding more team needs to that list. So
Sounds good. Scott, man, it got to be like 3:00 in the morning over there, right? We appreciate
he at?
you over there in Europe.
Europe where, Deuce?
I don't know. He's Europe. He's one of those
he's in
cities over
England.
there.
He's
in England. It's only 11 o'clock
England?
over there. He's all right.
Okay, but
Scott.
man,
Scott is the man.
How do you
Scott
know
is
that
the man.
fast though? Yeah, like how
Yeah,
you,
they're just 5 hours ahead. That's
yeah,
all right.
like people that's over there all the time know that. Yeah, you know exactly what time it is over there. Huh?
Hey
There you
man,
go,
you
so.
know, it is what it
Andy
is.
Burrows, Scott Harley, those guys, they're great. They really
Yeah,
are.
appreciate you, Scott. All right, everybody, we definitely appreciate all of you joining. We appreciate you spending your time with us. We know your time is very valuable for you to spend it with us. We definitely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.